that we're eating today. The carrots are M&Ms, and the meatloaf is Kit Kats cut up into things, and the mashed potatoes is frosting, and the salad is all fondant pieces. Yeah, you could eat it all except the glass and the silverware. I try to fit stuff to fit these senior meals. Artis always has some sort of plan. She's great. She's got themes going and whatever. She wanted the meatloaf dinner because it was one of the first dinners that they ever had here. So she requested the meatloaf dinner. I said, Artis, are you sure that's elegant enough for a 25th anniversary? And she goes, no, that's what we used to eat. So then I went elegant on the cake instead.
Welcome to the 25th year of senior lunches here at the Congregational Church. Isn't this exciting?
Let's gather together and let's pray. Gracious God, 25 years is many years to us, and yet a blink for you. And yet we think of all that has gone on in those 25 years. Here, the people that have worked here and have eaten here, that have come together to be present. And we thank you for that. We thank you for the changes that we've seen in ourselves, the changes that we've seen in the communities around us. We think of the children that have grown and had children of their own now in these 25 years. We thank you for all those who have gone before us, those who are still with us that put in so much work so that this could happen. We thank you for the investment of their time and the continual investment that allows this place to continue. This time when we can gather together, not only be nourished by the food that is before us, but by the company that is around us. Bless us now as we gather once more in your love. In your name we ask all this. Amen.
I'm Artis Smith. I'm the coordinator for the senior lunches that we have here in Townshend. I work for the Council on Aging. I was working as recreation director at the Barrowboro Retreat, and after I retired, to be doing something, and I had been in recreation for a long time, so I suggested to the Council on Aging director at the time, who was Jeff Gaddis, how would he like to have me go around to all of the senior sites and the senior housing and the senior meals and do recreation programs after lunch and teach them some things that they could do for fun instead of just eating and going home. And he thought that would be a great idea, so I went around to all the meal sites in the senior centers around in the two counties, and usually hit 2 or 3 or 4 a month and did recreation programs. So one day I came here to the Count Your Blessings luncheon. It was potluck, and they met once a month and did a program for them, and we had a good time that day, so they wanted me to come back, and I did. And I told Jeff about what fun the group was, and he said, why don't we ask them if they would like to do meals every month? And a lot of luncheons around, people come and eat and go home. And I think that's too bad. I mean, you've got some fellowship that you could build on there.
Oh, a chance to get out and socialize with all these people. I just love to come to them. We had nice food and a lot of sociability.
I live alone on Putney Mountain, and it's my chance to get out and see people.
For good food and fellowship, socializing.
A lot of your friends come here too?
Yes. We've made a lot of new friends since we started coming.
Well, I'm Ed Phoenix, and my wife's name is Lois.
You asked if we were together. Yes, we've been together for 62 years. Well, yeah, my husband, he's a real speedy spender, so he takes me to lunch at the senior lunches, and I like to go because then I don't have to cook supper.
It's nice to see all of
old timers together. I grew up with them, went to school with them. It's like old home day to see them all.
The student volunteers are from the Leland Gray Alternative Education Program, so we have a service learning component. We've done quite a few meals. We served the holiday meals here, and artists rounded us up. We have Trey Caton. Paul Matucci.
I'm Paul Matucci.
And Cody Downer.
I'm Cody Downer.
They're the students that'll be working in the kitchen. They love it.
Take it and scrape it off.
Why don't you...
Oh my. You'll see the other ones there. Patty, can I have these balls, please? So you can use it for the cake.
But not everybody can do what I can do. I mean, it's a natural. Recreation is my business.
Hooray! Hooray!
No matter where I am, if I'm in a group and there's just a little lull, I want to stand up and do a action song or something just to get people doing something together.
Oh, give us a meal that's a really good deal for the seniors in search of good food. Their meals are gourmet, what else can we say? The victuals are nothing but good. Sweat, sweat on the range, where they bake and they boil and saute. Cook chicken and ham, they never cut spare. For cooks, this is nothing but play. The lasagna's divine, the stir-fry sublime. The ambrosia is fit for a king. The senior meal fare is the best anywhere. Our praises to them will we sing. Sweat, sweat at the range, through the steam and the smoke and the heat. They taste and they test to make us the best. Food that is always a treat. Seniors come here from miles away to enjoy the good food and the drink. Through the rain, sleet, and snow, they're determined to go. They're out of their minds, some would think. Sweat on the range, through the steam and the smoke and the heat. They test and they twist to make us the best. Food that is always a treat.
And you're all a great bunch of singers, and we're all glad that we can be here in the land of the free and the home of the brave. So let's sing God Bless America. Okay. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. When we started 25 years ago, Ronnie Friedman, Ronnie, you've all met Ronnie, was working as Cheryl's job. There's Cheryl. She's a Rhonda. Executive Director of the Council on Aging. Was that your title?
Some of the time.
Some of the time.
Yeah, it was.
So Jeff was the Executive Director. And I was between jobs and was looking for something that would be fun to do. And it occurred to me, being a recreation person, that it would be fun if I went around to all the senior groups in the two counties as a recreation trainer and showed people some things they could do after lunch that would be fun. So one of the places I came to, Jeff said that was a great idea, and so he hired me, which I will be ever grateful for. So I told Jeff what a wonderful time I had, and he said, why don't we talk about having lunches every month or so there? So he and I and B. Shine and Mary Myers and some other people that I've long forgotten went up to B. Pomfrey's house out past the hospital, sat out under the trees, and had a little chat about starting the meals. And they said that we could do it if we wouldn't interfere with Count Your Blessings meetings. So we did. And so here we are ever since. Bill Salt was here as the minister, and Lottie Lawrence was our first cook. Betty Wellman works at Dutton's. Esther Cutts, remember Esther? Esther used to cook and then take off her apron and put on her cowboy hat and get out her guitar, and she and Elaine Chamberlain would sing music for us. Jan Stoll, we still have Jan with us. Jan and the sisters, we all bonded twice a month. Tim Mills was out of culinary school, and Tim tried to do some different stuff with us that he learned in culinary school, which was different. And he did the 20th anniversary run. I don't know how many of you remember that, but he did that banquet that went on and on and on and on, and we got out of here at 2 o'clock. But it was a wonderful banquet. And then Rose Bills came after Tim left. And Rose was coming today if she didn't have to work, but apparently she did too. And then we got Stephanie.
Yay!
And we hope that we will all be here for the next 25 years, and Stephanie will be with us. And ask how many of you remember the people that I remember. Mary Meyer.
Yep.
B. Shine. B. Shine was a teacher, I think.
Yes.
And she gave me a whole lot of little games and quizzes and things that I still use. I've got a whole cupboard full of stuff I got from her. Flossie and Harold Barber. Janice's parents. Shirley Greenwood. Caroline and Royal Cuts. Remember the slides that he used to show?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. Gladys Brown, Liza Crowning-Shield, Maggie Marcotte, and what was her brother's name that used to come with her? Earl. Earl Albee. Charlie Valentine, he's one person I will never forget.
These two guys were talking, and one of them said, Charlie, you seem to know everybody. You've been everywhere. You've done everything. Charlie said, that's right. He said, I don't believe it. He said, what about Eisenhower? Do you know Eisenhower? Charlie says, sure. He said, I've served him when I was a cook in the service. And he did. This is a true story. He said, what about the Pope? Charlie said, oh yeah. He said, I know the Pope. He said, I don't believe it. He says, we're going over there. We're going to find out. So they get a plane. They fly over. They stand in front of the place. And Charlie said to him, you see that balcony way up there? He said, I'm going to be standing out there with the Pope. You just watch. So pretty soon they keep looking and looking and looking. And finally there's two people standing on this little porch. And the guy looking and looking, he couldn't tell whether it was Charlie or what up there. So he said to this little old lady, he said, "Pardon me," but he said, "You look up there, is that the Pope up there?" And she looked and looked. She said, "I don't know if that's the Pope, that's Charlie Ballantyne."
Charlie Steiner.
Marty Steiner.
What was?
Don't forget his wife, Marty.
She didn't come very much. Merrill Redfield. Elaine Chamberlain. Robert McBride. Clarence Connolly. Everett Childs. Ruth Palso. Okay, who else?
Marion Newell.
Marion.
It's a deconstruction phase.
For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
Packing it up and taking off.
Oh my. More pictures?